Стана ми хубаво на душата, не се притеснявайте. Каничката кафе. Каничката кафе е основният виновник за лекото забавяне, но отново сме тук, отново сме с Диско Elysium и днес го приключваме. Аз, моята любима каничка кафе, карамела и вие. Всички вие, които сте решили да се присъедините този следобед към мен и този Диско Elysium финал. Наливам си заветната чаша кафе. Това е една голяма каничка, по принцип да. Това е една доста голяма каничка. Но вие сами виждате, аз съм едно голямо момче и ми трябват големи неща. Като канички, например. Който каквото друго голямо има да ми предложи, сега е момент. И всички, на които не им се работи. Първо, искам да се извиня за лекото, съвсем лекичко забавяне, докато си сваря кафето, но искам да се извиня и на това, че ви лишавам от Боби за втори пореден ден. Неудобно ми е, че се проточи чак толкова плейфруто. Изобщо не очаквах, нали, че ми остават толкова много и че ще оплета програмата ни по този начин. Но да кажем, че не е станало нищо фатално, просто да си знаете. Пък и остават ни около 2 часа, впрочем. Дори се чудя колко ще успея да запълня на днешния стрим. Предвид, че наистина сме на финала. Live and Northern Countdown. Why yes I am. Интересното е, че точно Disco Elysium се апдейтва в момента. Какъв пък апдейт измислихме на Disco Elysium изведнъж? Въпреки, че те бяха обявили, де? Вау. Забива ли супер много? Предполагам, че... И... Окей. Сега вече би трябвало всичко да е наред. Проба 1, 2, 3. Рефрешнете стрим. Мисля, че трябва да е окей. Така. Втори опит. Пускаме Disco Elysium. Не съм сигурен какъв е бил апдейта. Засякох новинка вчера, че оправят някакви неща, но не съм се зачитал супер много и пуснаха, впрочем, точно това, за което си говорихме преди няколко дни, а именно хардкор режима на играта. Супер интересно как се получи. Буквално до ония ден си говорихме как играта има нужда от някакъв изпитателен режим, нещо, което те подлага на още повече мъчения, и те точно това пуснаха. Въпреки че не го пуснаха под формата, под която си говорихме в чата, т.е. нещо, което ти крие скил чековете или не те информира кога си успял и кога не си успял. Не. Това, доколкото разбирам, си остава, но те лишава от още повече ресурси и те кара още повече да залагаш на, как да го кажа, на лошите субстанции, за да си наваксаш скил точки, които ти липсват. Hardcore апдейта. Да, не съм пускал не съм пускал patch notes да чета. Сериозно ли има patch notes в Steam? Добре, че ми казахте. Благодаря. Да си знам за следващия път. Къде бях сейвнал? Мисля, че ето това е сейва. И така. Остана точно едно неизследвано място на картата. И мисля, че няма никой, с който да не сме си избъбрили. A beacon of light in the dull shores of mediocrity. You're welcome, Martinez. Oh, well, thank you, officer. It certainly lightened the mood. He laughs nervously. Very cozy, like a street fair almost. Мисля, че няма нещо и някого, с който да не сме си говорили наоколо. Ще хвърля един последен поглед, в крайна сметка, да не изтървем някоя нишкано. Но ме съмнява да има кой знае какво. Wow, what?
Bleeding from the shoulder, face bruised, looking like hell? You know what that is? Cool. That's cool.
I'll leave you to it.
My man, you're alive. Almost, kind of, sort of alive.
I've been better. Man, what a day. I missed out on most of the action, but I heard it was quite the encounter. Had a strong sense of finality to it. So what's next? You guys heading back to Jamrock now? Tokia's local union muscle were behind it all. I'd reckon the case is closed, even if it kinda turned into a shit show. I'm still looking around, loose threads to tie up. Good luck with that, my man. Ain't easy being you, but hey, you're still breathing, right? I met the lady driver on my investigation. She's called Ruby. Okay, he seems a little apprehensive. I let her go. She didn't do anything. Whew, good on her, and good on you too, my man. That's merciful, downright merciful. You cops keep exercising that muscle and people will be more willing to cooperate, you know? Така... Днес дали ще я минем? Ще я минем, да. Я. Няма я... бабетката шофьор. Полудяла от влиянието на бледността. Затова пък той пичага още е тук. The boyadero stares at you with respect, then gestures towards the trickles of blood adorning your clothes. Danger comes with the boyadero lifestyle, right? Manana shrugs. There are types of danger. The ones I'm usually concerned with is lung cancer, or getting mauled by wildlife, not bullets. It calls back to an older era, when this was commonplace though. You have a true boyadero heart. So where is everybody? Hiding, gathering themselves. The harbor is in full lockdown, friend. No one in or out for the time being. You can't help me get inside? No man, not today. Today is war. What's gonna happen next? Time will tell. Manana shrugs. I'll tell Everett you dropped by. I'm sure he'll be glad. And what will you be doing now? I'll be okay here, doing my lookout. He surveys the red flags draped from the harbor gates. Quite the sight, aren't they? Getting to like that red, I am. Привет, Астерохше. Don't worry about me. I live to alleviate the worries of our brothers. See if any other insane killers turned up. Then I'll run and live. Try not to get shot, eh? I'm sure I'll be luckier than you, friend. Manana grins, as wide as a desert. Няма го моя любимец също така. Голямата горила, която беше тук. О, вече е заключено. Не можеш да отиваш към Everett и компания. Няма да видим дали всичко е заключено обаче. Или затворено. Хлопнало кепенците. Тази още е тук.
Is this about the questions again?
Не, нямаме обаче нови диалози с нея. Oh well. Както гледам, наистина всички са се покрили максимално. Затова пък Куно още е тук.
Everyone says you started crying in the middle of a firefight and then bled like a pig. I guess that was cool.
Who's saying that? People, they say you kind of died for a moment. Then let you shit already, but then came back, so I guess that's what's cool now. Just don't think cause you got half your dick shot off and you're an invalid now, Kuno's gonna treat you different. Kuno doesn't reward weakness. He looks at your pathetic limp. It's business as usual with Kuno. Kuno's called like that. Feels good for some reason. Пето ниво. Благодаря, Астерохше. Сърдечно. Благодаря за подкрепата. Финали. Да, на финала сме. Watch out, pig. It's dangerous world out there, but Kuno's got his eyes on you. What is that supposed to mean? Kuno starts doing the I got my eye on you gesture repeatedly. Who knows? А Kunoesата?
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
Все толкова симпатична. Не. Окей, сега вече я видях. What was Tall Russia's favorite sport? Basketball. I'm sure. Сигурен съм, че това му е любимия спорт. Имало е доста време да го попрактикува. С Бал и компания. Добре, ми да отиваме към острова. Реално погледнато, едва ли някой има какво да ни каже. Повече. Аз имам скил поинтче, нали? Да. Взема да си го похарча. Докато още мога. Една точка в концептуализация. Може пък да свърши работа. Това е плашещо нездравословно количество котко емотки. Няма такова нещо. Винаги може още една котка. Някъде там да се вмести. Минимум още една.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
I got shot. Even I can see that. I told you not to bring your trouble with you, policeman. We've got troubles of our own here. Though I suppose you took the worst of it. Turns out you were your own ill omen. The woman chuckles to herself. I guess you were right. The men with guns were coming for me after all. She nods. I'm not sure those were the last of the men with guns either. There are always more coming for your kind, officer. Айде, бабче. Със здраве, остани.
Officer Harry, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
Аз винаги изглеждам ужасно, но да кажем, че сега е още по-ужасно. I'm a cop. I don't merely exist in this world. I live in between life and death.
Everyone does that in a way. You don't have to get shot for that. What happened to you anyway? We heard gunshots from the town. They were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on the Rue de Saint-Guilaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
I dodged the second shot. I can also get not shot.
Well, good for you.
You should see the other guys. 2 dead, 1 in the hospital.
So you're a killer. That's good, I guess. I guess. Better than being dead.
Scoff in a masculine manner. I have a question for you.
Of course. Can I help you with something?
We need to get to that island. That won't be a problem. It's wind still, and the tar just dried. She points to her skiff next to the jetty. We got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead. What's that on the island? I saw some kind of ruins through the binoculars. Used to be some kind of fortification there before the war, for the communards. An anti-aircraft gun, I think. Bombed to bits in the landing. I haven't been there myself, always steered clear of it. Противовъздушна установка е имало там. You said you haven't been there yourself. Who was then, if not you? My husband used to drink there? Him and his drinking buddies always seemed like a bad place to drink to me. People died there during the landing, you know, my mother told me. She looks around. The kids sometimes go there too. I know they do, on rafts. I tell them not to, but they bring back old bullet casings and such. Which kids? The twins? She points to the 2 kids playing on the concrete yard. God forbid they bring the girl along with some rickety barge. Can we maybe ask your twins about that place before we go? Would that be alright? No, be my guest, she looks at the boys. They have a strange way of talking. See if you can get anything useful out of them. I seldom do. Is there anything I should know about getting there? Well, most of it is sunken underwater. That means concrete underwater. Cut your boat if you're not careful. Be sure to enter from the south side. Water's deep there. Aye, Captain. 2 days of sunshine. I just got a bacterial infection. I'm sad to hear that. Take care of that with ether, would you? Don't get too many RCM men around here. Be sad to lose the first one. Can we borrow your boat? If you promise to bring it back. Ain't no scraping the hull. I just got it nice and yellow. And no drinking on the boat. Her eyes narrow. And no joyriding either. Of course, ma'am. It's only for a day or two. Official police business. Aye. Thank you. We'll use your skiff to get there then. Така... Я да видим какво знаят близнаците, ако знаят нещо изобщо за този остров. Okay, kids, you've been on that island, right? On that island? The one who's busy kicking his stone points to the bay. Yeah, that one. I need to know what's there. That's, nothing? The boy pauses to think with his finger in his mouth. It's just a sea fort and some plants. You can take a raft there, it's great. And, the other one butts in. We make a fire. We make a fire. Get her the sticks from the fire and bullets. Or not real bullets, empty bullets. There's a lot of bullet shells left over from the war. What do you mean, shells? I don't know what those are. What then? There are lights. The fire guy comes and asks us to put the fire out. Fire guy? Someone lives on the island? No, the boy answers, shaking his head vehemently. His brother looks at him, then at you. Yes. The lieutenant raises his eyebrows and whips out his notebook. Let's go with yes. Why is he the fire guy? Because the boy pauses to think. Because he asks to put the fire out, the other explained. Не иска да привлича внимание. Който е бил там. Why does he ask you to put the fire out? I don't know. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like people to be there. You shouldn't go. Yes, the other one adds laconically, standing with his hands glued to his sides like a little tin soldier. You mentioned something about lights. One of them, it's hard to tell which one now starts. I don't know. Did you mean they are electrical lights? Yes. Is there anything else you can tell me about this guy? Age? Does he live there? No, he doesn't live there, I don't think. No, he lives there. The other nods. He's been there twice, 2 times. Huh. The first one pauses to think, then comes to some kind of conclusion. He doesn't live there. He isn't there sometimes. Anything else? What does this guy look like? I don't know. They say almost in unison. How come? We ran. He just yelled we shouldn't be there. Your father used to go to that island too, didn't he? Our father killed himself. Don't say that. He didn't. His brother punches him. The boy's eyes well up, like he's about to start crying. I don't think it's... Не мисля, че е на нашето място да казваме каквото е да било тук. I'm sorry, the one says to the other, rubbing his brother's shoulder affectionately. Is that all you know? Anything more you can tell me about the island? There's a The boy says, rubbing his eyes. It's clear he has no intention of finishing the sentence. A lights fire guy? The lieutenant looks at you. We should check upon that island. Добре. Към островчето тогава. Вие се питате за отпечатъци. Явно детективстването в тази игра ви се отразило по такъв начин. A skiff with a small steering engine in the back floats on the calm mirror of the sea. Its two seats are empty. The boat's belly is a shiny yellow color, industrial paint over fresh tar. You see it reflect off the water, along with the factory number, A72. Ами, май това е всичко. Ето тук ще направя един сейв, за да си имам един сейв точно преди endgame. И отиваме. Get in and right to the island. Ким на руля и аз с касетофон на рамото, разбира се.
Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever.
Не си вълчо, това е началото на края. Последният заподозрян на уж необитаемия остров. Някогашното подобие на Кей. Не съм подготвил абсолютно нищо, Букаш. Приключвам я и ще спра стрима за деня, когато я приключим. The boat comes to a slow stop. Kim turns the engine off. Then there's silence. In the silence, a sputter of wings, a flock of quails takes off in the distance. Let's go, he whispers. Makeshift bridge, the bombs were powerful enough to break the foundation. The rusted chain trails off into the ocean. The chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot on the coast. This leads to the depot in Land's End. The lieutenant looks at the mechanism overhead. Ah, yes, so it seems. What do you think it was used for? For bringing munitions to the island, maybe, and supplies. You could also lock the bay when you raise the chain. As a defensive measure, locking off that side of the bay. Lock it off from whom? From enemies. He looks up ahead. Enemies of the commune of Revachol. This sea fort was a revolutionary fortification, I believe. Иначе не се очудвам, че е на Unity, впрочем. Тези Unity ползваха и за други изометрични RPG-та. Конкретно обсидианските. Pillars of Eternity и Tyranny използват Unity. Малко, нали, поредното доказателство на тезата, че не е важен толкова инструмента, енджина, а как го използваш. There's a lingering trace of mazout in the air. Some fuel has leaked out of the barrel, black and viscous. Да, Unity и Unreal са най-лесните и достъпни, нали? The dry grass crackles under your feet as you stop. Faraway birds' wings touch the still surface of the sea. What's that flutter? The flock of quail departs, now more than 100 meters away. 102, 105... Underneath the flutter, on the islet, there's almost no wind, just the light movement of air through the reeds. Bulrushes swaying on the waterline, long dried leaves chafing against each other. Like a silent orchestra tuning at the beginning of a major work. Така, ослушваме се какво може да чуем. Някъде пред нас има голяма сграда. Kim. Yes. It's really fucking silent on this island. It is. That is why we're stopping? Mm-hmm. Wait, I have to listen to one more thing. Добре. ICM. Kim, what's the ICM? In Solindian Citizens Militia, the official name of the Communards Army. The black and white army of the revolution. That sounds an awful like RCM, the Revachol Citizens Militia. It does. Why is that? The RCM may descend from the ICM. May? It is impossible to say. Kim looks towards the darkened doorway. It was chaos after the war. The name was good for getting people to join us. Revachol West was mostly workers and criminals. It's a little embarrassing in 51, no? Maybe we need a rebrand. No one remembers the ICM. The connotation is less important each year. Kim bows to inspect the barrel. A white star. No. Kim looks at it. An upside-down star. With its horns in the sky, the symbol of the commune. Are those speck stars too? No, that is the uninhabited archipelago. This looks old. What's it still doing here? After, he thinks, 44 years? That is not nearly enough to hide what happened here, Lieutenant Operator. One of these barrels was still leaking fuel, as you saw. The city is full of things like this. Old bullets, guns, fuel. Остатъците от една недовършена война. The stairs are gone. Няма как да минем от тази страна, доколкото разбирам. Вие си говорите за енджини. Какво ще разработвате, бе, чат? Ще станете ли вие гейм девелопери? Тази вечер започва Софийския Game Jam, впрочем. За начинаещи и ентусиасти разработчици. Има разнообразни лекции този уикенд и мисля даже да се вясна на някои от тях. Ако ви е интересно и сте в София, може и вие да дойдете. Ти какво си? An armament rest. Тук е имало уредие някога. Twin cannons were attached here. Medium distance, large caliber. Мога ли да сляза до там или... Не, много е далеч. Microgrid generator. An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of the side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hands on the metal barrel, checking for warmth. It is cold now, he concludes. But someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired. Where do the wires lead? Somewhere downstairs. What kind of a generator is this? Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout. He points to the open fuel cap on the side of the dynamo. The kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter, long and cold. If anyone stayed here, they'd need a generator. Tap on the side. Hollow ring, the canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and down into the ammo lift. What does it mean, a generator here? Как умиргам. Много сте жестоки. I do not know. I'm not a philosopher. This is Kim's idea of a joke. Ouch. Yeah, well, I am. This generator proves the universe is material. Kim nods approvingly. He even smiles. But I meant why it's here. Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm. Maybe it's the fire guy. Maybe it is the fire guy. Остана само да го намерим този fire guy. Къде е? И каква му е на него играта. Абсолютно никой друг, Мишо. Абсолютно никой друг. Mostly fantastic fiction. Fantastic fiction. Spring mattress. There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of soft-cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn caracal blanket. Someone has been squatting in here. The lieutenant inspects the bed. The linen is fresh, recently washed. How recently? You know, officer? Kim looks at you with a touch of concern. You can rest here if you're feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead. No time for rest now. Yes, anytime. If you need rest later, it's okay by me. Интересно, че ми предлага къде да рествам тук. Candles planted on a broken range finder. Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized. Списания. Какви? Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classical animal adventures. Симпатично. Does anything stand out as unusual? Oh yes. Under the bed there's a rather extensive collection of critical theory. That is, dour, life non-affirming left-wing literature, published by small imprints such as Abattoir Firm and Usia. It is not exactly light reading. Look, Kim, a book, left wing, no comment. Do you have any? Usia, he enunciates the word diligently. Humanitarian sciences stands out. Not a lot of critical theory around in Revachol West anymore. Wasn't there some books like that in the communist room? Communist students' room? The student in the apartment building seemed to have some as well. Well, yes, that one student did. The little books seem inconsequential next to the big pile of frivolous entertainment covering them. Critical theory books, what do you think that means? Again, I am not a philosopher, but whoever has lived here, they have some education and a certain set of interests. Добре. Някаква индикация поне за човека, който е живял тук. Така, малко провези. You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one, a heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It is very small. What's on the other side? Another part of the island, probably. The lieutenant looks into the keyhole. The lock looks like it could still be usable. How do we open this? Kim looks at the door, then at its bigger brother, then at the lock. Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open. He is right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door. You're right. We opened the big one. Do you see controls anywhere? I think there's a console just to the southeast. Kim shuffles his feet to stay warm. Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan. Интересно. Кефиме колко... Дали това по принцип е много лукс за разработчиците да го помислят, но дали се е съобразила играта с времето на излизане на играта с сезона, в който излиза? Тъй като тя излезе ноември, ако не греша? Или началото на декември? И самата игра се развива някъде по същото време. Климатично. Сезонно по-скоро, не климатично. Има някаква такава... Създава настроение, ако не е друго. Когато се съвпада с истински събития. Обаче излизам от същата страна, нали? Йоп. Даже може би ще е още по-подходящо, ако я бях изиграл в февруари месец или нещо такова. Защото е точно за края на зимата и началото на пролетта. Събитията в играта. Как обаче ще стигнем до там? Ето там долу са контролите, но не виждам как се слиза до тях. И че си намира някакъв pathfinding. А, отдолу минава, боже господи. Имам чувството, че единствените игри, които всъщност се съобразяват все още с конкретното време, в което излизат, чисто календарно, са игрите, които са посветени на Хелоуин. Water rushes below, far down below. Интересно. Failed insular console. So what's this? Ah, the console of an antique computational device. The lieutenant points to the wires running into the machine. The generator upstairs with wires coming out. They terminate here. Could this open the blast door? Possibly. Kim inspects the dials. Urgence, overt, halomere, radio diffuse. It sounds like this device was used to control the electronics here. Maybe it still does. Я да чуем радио. Какво ще ни даде? О! Чрез радиосигнала може да се свържем с Суна в църквата. Maybe we could contact Suna, the programmer lady. She could open the door for us remotely. The lieutenant inspects the indicator. This is a air-grabbed system. Of air, I think they call it. That won't work. You sure? No, I'm not. But it would not be very good military technology if programmer ladies could control it remotely. Also, it is ancient, incompatible. Светлините тогава? Nothing happens. Emergency open? Nothing happens. We need to restore power before using this, officer. The generator. It didn't look like there was fuel in it. Всъщност да. Good point, както се казва. В някои от варелите отвън може би има. Or we could use some of the boat engine. But officer, he looks you in the eye. Then we would have to swim back to the mainland. Let's just look around, okay? Добре. Да се поогледаме тогава. Къде може да намерим гориво? Че да подкараме генератора в старата фабрика. Firing slit. Опитам се възможно най-щателно да обиколя острова и затова се движа по малко странен начин. Inside of the fortress. Така. Не мога да сляза нататък, но пък тук има нещо. Още една кушетка. There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures. Firing slits like two eyes in the wall. P triple prime. The lieutenant lowers his voice, stepping closer with his hands on his gun. This looks like a good place to shoot from. This is a single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette burns. And an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts. We pick up one of the cans. The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand is Tio Motwiri, like the ones we found at Land's End, remember? I may have been wrong when I said it was unimportant. Kim stares into the can for a second. This means the same person could have visited both locations. I did not see any signs of smoking inside though, if people live there. They keep it tidy. This here may also be a smoking spot. There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window. The concrete is quite old and grimy from the years without cleaning by anything other than the rain. Да погледнем през цепнатината. The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. A small piece of the Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar. The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. You see a small fleck of white on the rooftop, the upstairs window of Classier's room in the snow, reflecting light. Motherfucker. What does that mean? Do you have line of sight to the window? Kim, with a pair of binoculars, I will be able to see inside the room. A pair of binoculars, or a scope of a rifle. He points to the makeshift bed. You would be prone, lying on the mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure. Cheek against the cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger. On a calm day like this... Kim, I could make it. I could make the shot. Good. He pats you on the back. 3 small pats in a row. I think we have it, detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest. Finally. In our defense, nothing pointed here. Many leads pointed elsewhere. You're right. Kim looks north over the fortification, then at the mattress. Then again, his face twitches. Could the shooter still be here? Where? On this island. Kim doesn't answer, just nods. With his back hunched, he looks around once more and says, "We should move, now." Добре. Стрелеца може би все още е някъде около нас. Не особено окуражаващо. Поне му джобихме аптечката. Го оставихме без лекарства. Така. Мисля, че нямам път надолу в тази посока. След 10 дни пак ще ни чака нас. Ради, и ти имаш право, по принцип, но никъде другаде не се е вясвал, което е... окуражаващо поне малко от малко. Снайпери Слима. Да, реално намерихме кой е убиеца. И буквално го е снайпнал от майната си. Сега остава да разберем и защо го е направил. Както гледам, обаче няма нищо за изследване наоколо, така че влизам обратно в бункера. Best AWP player in the game. Определено най-добрия. Дори не е смешно. Всъщност ние трябва да се качим отгоре ли? Май да. Че убития е шефчето на шайка наемници. Но трябва да го отстреля някакъв ебаси професионалиста за такъв тип изстрел, честно казано. Така че всичките ни теории за това, че някои от местните, нали, колкото и да са имали мотив и стимул и всичко да го убият, всъщност не е бил нито един от тях. Така. Този път ASMR с наливането даже не беше от мен. Live by the sword, die by the sword, huh? Може. The recall starts. Wakes the old generator up. Картачев! Привет! Добре дошли на развръзката на диско Elysium. Буквално сме в последните 2 астрономически часа от играта. И освен това, 10 месеца заедно. Благодаря ти, приятелю. Много благодаря. Дали? Със сигурност. Дори играта ни предупреди, че не може да се върнем от там, където отидохме. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before setting down to a rattle. Така. Взехме и скил поинтче, което ще оползотворим. Картач, бяхме като пророци онзи ден, като си говорихме за хардкор режим на играта. Впрочем, защото днешния апдейт на диско Elysium внася именно това. Още по-труден режим на игра. Само, че не е по начина, по който си го представяхме. Така че явно скил чековете ще си останат неразривна част от играта. Но пък, доколкото разбирам, я усложнява доста от към изисквания към теб, от към скилове. Много повече те стимулира да използваш нелегални субстанции, за да си наваксаш нещата, в които не го бива ченгето. И да, реално е доста по-грубичко. Доколкото разбирам, не знам дали ще имам кохонесите да го пробвам. Айде, една последна точка в риторика. Кой знае какви преговори ще трябва да водим след малко. И най-сетне ми се комплитна таска за това да намерим откъде е било, откъде е стреляно, реално погледнато. Нали така? Даже не помня в кой ден го бяхме взели този квест. Както и да е. Важното е, че наистина вече сме го отметнали и него. Да, Вълчо много не ги трае. Riot Games. Един рерън. На мен изобщо пък не ми е направило впечатление. Изобщо не ми пречи да направя още един рън на Диско Елизиума. На вас обаче... Така... И да видим какво се крие за вратата. Или пък един дабл рерън. Прав си, Фейлън. Двоен рерън. Първо Death Stranding от начало и после и диското от начало. Хареса ми как мислите. What if we go into another fight? Don't worry. Kim takes out his sidearm, checks the barrel and holsters the... I have a gun. Спокойно бе, кето калмари. I also have a gun. I know. It was not easy to acquire. So what's there? I don't know. Явно ще го разберем по трудния начин. Какво има зад голямата метална врата? За Death Stranding си на вид. Death Stranding пак като излезе за компютър. Тогава пак. Ким капа прайдари. Това също ми харесва. Так му ще разбереш за какво става на въпроси в двете игри. Споко пак няма. Стига бе. И двете са супер разбираеми, ако ги следите. Ама вие не ги следите, защото ви мързи. Мързи ви чат. Само безмозъчни ги шигаем от тук нататък. Ще блъскаме... Реално съвсем скоро ще блъскаме една бая безмозъчна, обаче много приятна игра. А именно Doom Eternal. Точно 2 месеца остават до него. Fork Knife чак, мисля да не падаме толкова ниско. Doom Eternal Platforming Sections. Оу, хей! Хай! Ти кой си? С тази снайперистка пушка почвам да се сещам кой си. Фалшиво малко или повече, но имаш мек добър тембър и извивки. Да се пробваш ли за вокален педагог? Защо пък не? Пробвай се. Дай си шанс. An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth. Then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp. Nice gun you got there.
It's not nice, it's a piece of shit. Gets the job done.
So is that a Belma grave?
It's a Trigon 446.
Southeast Samaran made. Exotic. Must be defunct too. No modern rifle manufacturer of that name springs to mind.
A Samaran rifle? How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Xinyao Commune. Military aid.
It stayed true to him. He can still make it sing. Are you the fire guy?
What now? I can't hear you.
Did you recently tell 2 kids to put out their fire? 2 twins.
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around trying to give up the position. Fire guy, regressive bourgeoisie henchman, can't even talk like a grown-up.
You retained your eyesight.
My eyesight, yes, helps me see all this shit.
Did you close the blast door?
I did. And you opened it. How?
I fueled the generator, then used the console.
I should have burned that console down.
How did you know I was coming?
Reactionary rock and roll music playing on the water.
Така като го кажеш, да, майче се оповестихме доста отдалече, че идваме.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
But you didn't say that, Kim.
I did.
We have entered a world where he said you shouldn't. It is the only world. It wasn't rock and roll, it was sad FM.
Sad FM, huh? I always hated that station. Phlegmatic, counter-revolutionary dirges. Sadness is a mental illness, a weapon of the bourgeoisie. The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate, hip, gyrating mental illness music.
What the shit? So who's the Shinyao commune?
You heard me. It's good now, like chalk wiped from a board.
Привет, Нивке. He is right. Almost no one remembers there was a third metastasis of the World Revolution in the Safra Empire, extinguished in 06. It's not wiped from the board, I remember it.
They wouldn't like hearing their name coming from your mouth. A damn dog.
Your weapons stayed true to you, mine stayed true to me as well.
Yes, I bet you killed a lot of people with it, you fascist fuck. Have you come to make me one of them?
His left eye twitches with what? Fear? Rage?
We have come to ask you questions, nothing more. If you do not comply, we will take you in. Do you understand?
Another spitball lands in the ashes. That's all the answer he gives. I'm with the police. You can keep the gun but keep it down. Not one move.
No. Put it down now, sir.
Or you're going to blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
Huh. Okay. He stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving without a sound, a strange sadness, like a song. What did you say?
The future teaches you to be alone.
In the present.
The present, be afraid and cold.
Those words, the future teaches you. Real music, real prolet cult, he nods. That's la Revacholière, not your rock and roll misanthropy. Chanson des soldats of the black and whites. I'm not a misanthropy, I'm a half-dead police officer who's just doing his job. Късно ли е да се занимаваш професионално с музика от 11 клас? Изобщо не. Мога да те уверя. Имаш предостатъчно време да се занимаваш професионално с музика. I know La Revolutionnaire. It's the marching song of the World Revolution. And there you go. His eyes remain fixed on the sky as he sighs and adds, one of three. In Grande they sang Brave Children, favorites of history, and in Shinyao it was. He struggles to remember, then gives up. Some Samaran shit, I guess. First, it wasn't some Samaran shit, it was Boy with a Scythe. I fucking know what they sang, he hisses. I watched those little fuckers die in my arms. Little ones came to help us. Got cut to shreds. You don't fucking tell me what they sang. He closes his eyes and exhales to calm himself. His nostrils are still flaring with rage. He brings himself back under his own stewardship, slowly. How does it go, the song? How did it go? He looks at his gun on the ground and shakes his head slowly. Something about shooting rabbits, I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's gone now. He waves erratically with his hand, annoyed that he can't remember. A little tremor passes through him. So if I can shoot rabbits, then I can shoot fascists too. Those are the next lines. What are you talking about? He squints and looks you straight in the eye, two black beads, moist from the sea air. He doesn't recognize it. Да взем пушката от пясъка, все пак. His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand, frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire. Still warm from his parched hands. Not the metal is ice cold. The weapon has been modified several times. I wonder how old it is. The rifle is in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. Kim, I know Ceres. What does it say? For Safra and for all mankind. That's what the little guys told us, the old man says silently. Every day at 4 o'clock in the morning, they go on and on about their Safra, their mankind, and Zov. Those men were commandos. They weren't shit on a stick like us. They were small and... He doesn't say more. The thought dissipates on his lips. On the butt of the gun you see Vespertine writing burnt into the wood. Trian Gong 446mm, made in Xinyao. It's as he said. No one said it has to be a Belmagrav. The lieutenant does not take his eyes off the old man. We were just guessing. It uses jacked ammunition, 446 caliber. The right type and the right caliber, the lieutenant nods, glancing at the gun. Добре, прибираме го. The old man keeps following your motions with his gaze. His left arm twitches suddenly. Some kind of involuntary response? Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him to get a confession in time. Who are you? My name, he looks across the water, then back at you, is Josef Lilianovich Dross, political commissar of the 414th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I'm a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender. His eyes turn to the reeds again, dead and dull. There, behind him, across the delta, the Insurcom building. Coalition Government Insulindian Mission Control. The Commune of Revachol. The lieutenant forgets to close his mouth. Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the Insulindian Citizens Militia, the Army of the Revolution. I was recruiting in Jamrock in 07, trained in the École de Contrôle Aérienne, and consigned to emergency defense duties in 08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on the May 14th, the commune had fallen, still armed and ideologically trained. I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties. You've been on this island for 43 years. No. He looks into the fire. A wisp of smoke rises from somewhere between the charred logs. I've been on other islands too. Again, you've been hiding for 43 fucking years. 43 years and 10 months. I don't even know what that is. It's inhuman, it's sick, it's not how a human being should live. But I had to. He grimaces, clearly in pain. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw. What have you been doing all this time? Hiding, fishing, waiting. Always waiting, always. For what? For her to return. Her who? Girl-child revolution. I come from there, point to the mainland. I'm not a fool. He blinks his black eyes. I know, the material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore. However hard I try, whatever I do. You said you deserted your unit. I was just 16 years old, 15 when I was volunteered. I had a lapse of faith, and of courage too. I see. Well done, I won't explain it to a minion of capital. What is this place, this island? It's not an island, Drat. He looks around. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol, and I'm its last surviving defender. What was it used for? The congenially deformed King Philippe II built it to restrict access to Bay of Revachol. We captured it in 02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing, against the whole world. You mean the landing, retaking Revachol? Coalition military called the Operation Deathblow. He winces. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Kalu alone. First of all, I'm not one of them. Sure you are. You are CM. Answer me. Who calls an operation against 50 million people Deathblow? The coalition military. He shakes his head and says, Iblis. Iblis? A black-eyed angel, he notes. Shaitan Ahura, the Darkened One. How have you survived all this time? How does anyone survive? He looks at his worn running shoes. I steal. You know that's a choice, right? You're insane and grotesque. Everyone steals. Vegetables, supplies. It's the life of a dog. He coughs one more, then puts his hand on his belly. How is your health, Mr. Dross? I've been throwing up blood since winter, red like beetroot. Been passing in stool, too. He does seem frail. Gone for his age, more like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer. The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over. I need to die. A droll smile stretches across his mouth. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns. We have Dramin and other opioid-based painkillers. You must be in pain. A light goes on in his eyes. He smacks his dry lips. I have been running out of that stuff. Well, this is a serious situation. You need to be looked over, and we can do it. There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund. How have you coped mentally? I haven't. I've holes in my brain, years missing, others filled with pain only. A decade of... His eyes roll into his skull and back. I don't even know what. Inferno? You notice the lieutenant is about to say something. I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult mentally to live in isolation. Traitors, it's better alone. He nods towards Martinez. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on more and more each year. Ruins glimmering in the dark like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting. He looks down at his shoes, his face parched from the sun and the wind. There's a wince of pain in there somewhere. How have you concealed yourself all these years? It was hard in the tents, he shakes his head. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. He closes his eyes, floodlights on the water at night. There were posters, campaigns. We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated, Martinez and Coal City were turned to dust. He looks south. But Jamrock, Faubourg, even Couronne, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips have Mazov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol were still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. He shakes his head. Soon they all went silent. The frequencies, dead. How did you get between here and the mainland? At night. I used the dingy. He nods towards the deflated tire in the reeds. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols. You lot. The commons too, they started snitching. In the city you move underground. From bunker to bunker, he nods. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. He falls silent, his gaze fixed on the shacks huddled together across the water. Why don't you just walk in there? I don't want to. They're all traitors, pigs, rabbits and dogs. Men without ideals, our only animals. The weapons cache under Sengis Lane 22B in the basement. Have you been there? He looks at you, then pulls the wrinkle tighter around his neck. So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Bell McGraw's, right? Damaged beyond use. I know. So you have been there. Sleeping, he coughs. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraw's were shit even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however. You feel the dots connecting, little dots on the map he's walked across. There's a small bunker under the Feld building. Have you stayed there? The propaganda bunker? He coughs. I used to, but not anymore. Propaganda bunker? He stored leaflets there, broadcasting equipment too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys. They killed themselves. A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there, never liked it, kept thinking of them. He stares at the ruins of the Feld building. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins on the ground. Do you smoke Tumutwiri cigarettes? I do. He coughs. Ever smoked them on the mainland? They're good, he nods. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack too. Reminds me of the last century. You said this was your termless surrender. You're with the RCM, he waves in your general direction. The coalition-approved mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol. We're not coalition-approved, we just try to help people. He stares at you coldly. You're the RCM, you represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took the city. I represent their adversary, Le Parti Communiste Insulinde. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity. His hand shakes and he breaks into a coughing fit. A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit. René, the royalist on the coast. The communards signed the Revacholian instrument of surrender. Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. He draws his breath. I answer to the Communist Party. Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender? He wipes the blood from his chin. I understand. I don't think you did. He stares at the fire pit. You live in a delusion. Radio shows, speed racing, and sporting goods. It's not real. So you're a communist soldier from the communist army? No, I'm not a soldier. I'm an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army. But you said you were trained and assigned to the defense corps. Trained, he nods, in historical materialism, then assigned a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something. So what does a political commissar do? The old man doesn't answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs. The lieutenant speaks softly. His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the commune. Scientific communism. The tracksuit-clad old man is suddenly reanimated. A commissionaire politique is a knight philosopher of the revolution, a future human. Awakened from shut down by the promise of ideology. That means you're a trained communist, right? He nods slowly, then another tremor. I have another more serious question for you. There's nothing serious in this world. He looks at the gun in your hand. It's a farce. Някой пише в чат, не Вълчо. Умълчали сте се. Успал съм ви с това четене. What have you been using this gun for? I've used it for killing people. Killing people. It's a gun, that's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family, your property? I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people. Interesting, the lieutenant nods. During or after the war? There is no after the war. He shakes his head and smiles, his teeth rotten black. Class war is never over. So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while, but what? This is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Going straight, no euphemisms, he doesn't like those. Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Cranell? Who now? He heard you. He just wants you to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. His name was Ellis Courtner. He was part of a security detail here in Martinez. Oh yeah, that one. He looks up the sky and slacks his tongue. Ugly piece of work, that boy. Did you kill him? The lieutenant takes a sudden step towards him. I'm a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revoshol. He spits a big one at the lieutenant's feet. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime. Така, трябва да извлечем самопризнание, въпреки че се дърпа. Буквално се шляпнахме да си спомним всичките неща, които могат да се използват като доказателства. Не мога. Шибаните цветя на шибания покрив са едното доказателство, което все още не можа. Не можехме да свържем с абсолютно нищо. Don't forget the footprints, the diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Classia's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up. Thanks, Head. Thank you. There were Maybells behind the victim's window. Damn Maybells. He looks at the blossoming field behind you. The whole island is turning white with them. So many this year too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash that filth away. I haven't seen these flowers anywhere in Martinez, only here. They blossom on the islets before. We fertilize them with our blood. He looks to the water. Resurrection was snow white in May before they ruin it. The coast too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with. You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths, pinball workshops? I may. A curious tremor passes his face. A young woman called Classier. Ring any bells? These dried flowers were behind her window. Classier. He knows her, but hadn't heard the name. You know her, right? She had an intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary. With the victim. He turns his sight from the whitening field of flowers and falls silent. Then the muscles in his jaw twitch, a spasm. There is a small tremble. Looks like a smile, a crooked smile, yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst. I wonder what brands of boots you're wearing. Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa. Some shit. Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dross. Fucking imbecile. The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn-out old running shoes on his feet. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size. And the size fits, but not the sole. The lieutenant comes to the same conclusion. Maybe it's simpler than that. People change shoes. Doesn't mean you weren't there, near the room the victim died in, sneaking around. Racking those brains, are ya? He squints at you, black pearls gleaming with hatred. Desperate to report something back to your masters. He must have really loved that dead fuck. I don't need your cooperation. I got this. Show him the weapon. Not a lot of guns around use military-grade ammunition, are there? It's a real gun, he points to the lieutenant's holster, not like your little musketeer pistols. I seen you prance around with those jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? He chortles. Go against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got your boys killed. Видяла е сблъсъка на площада. Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon. You know what? The lieutenant looks at it. The lieutenant looks at the weapon demonstratively. You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it? You think we have the murder weapon? 4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. He He lists, we have it, this is it. Well, I'm calling it, we have the murder weapon. Good. He draws a line across his notebook. This feels good, doesn't it, tying things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer. Murder. The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more. He suddenly jerks to life. You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer, armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt edge of a hammer, end of a hammer, dripping with blood. He was a soldier too. He was a man. Beating us to the ground, moaning with joy. He breathes in with strange animation. You hounds gets all thorough when a company-trained killer dies. Haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years, you know? Maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. He looks you dead in the eye, pupils shaking. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Now when they die by the hundreds. He breathes through his flared nostrils. This is it. Shot him. Say shot him and not killed him. So you shot him. Oh, the inhumanity. He closes his black eyes. One paramilitary less in Ravachol. You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from anger. The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you, while he listens, holding his breath. I had them in my sights, both of them, him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. He begins to smile. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death and that stupid look on his face. His smile quivers, and his dick still in her. And then what? Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here, I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did. The lieutenant just looks at him for 1, maybe 2 seconds, then breaks the silence. Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder? Yes. A single word is all he gives. The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly. And you are looking at them, the victim and a young woman having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him. The old man nods. Why? Because that's what they were doing. He shrugs, then smacks his lips. The motive? This is where the motive is gonna come from. I don't understand, he turns to you. To you, detective, I don't understand this part. Why were you looking at them that night? I'm always looking. He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his left side, lower in intensity. Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand. A rifle's scope has the best magnification. And if you don't like it, click. You pull the trigger. Yes. He looks you in the eye. Think of it as a form of critique. He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it. What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder? Them fucking. He looks at the charred wood. I didn't like that. You were jealous. Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself, drugged out, soothes in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. For him to stop reacting to stimuli, to be broken off from the world, cordoned into darkness. And I wanted her to see his head explode, he nods. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head, he squints. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her, but you can't have everything. Wow. The man has seen past her, like you did. How long have you been watching her? Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early that morning behind the Feld building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have the skimpy outfit on then. Just a spot in the night, moving. Past the Feld building on the coast. What was she doing there? Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her. Smoking, she was nervous but not scared. What do you think she hid there? Her passport and tickets to Villers, he coughs. And from there to Kasherbrunn. This is the hidden boy she told us about. You looked into it? He nods. After she was gone? Did you keep what was in it? Then, when we found the submersible, it was empty. No. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I put them back. I wanted to extort someone. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better. A little inconsistency. He was surprised to hear the name Classio before. Would he not have seen it on the documents? Are you sure? We checked the submersible. There was nothing there. He looks to the reeds, confused. Why would I need the trash? I'm not going to Villiers. You saw her name on the passport, but before, when I said her name is Clausia, you didn't seem to recognize it. It didn't say Clausia in there. He shakes his head. What did it say? It was something. I don't remember. It was dark that morning. I only remember her face on the photo. Devil May Cry за $20. Holy shit. Това е от намалението за китайската нова година ли? Налазвайте. Меко казано си заслужава $20. Did you continue watching her after this? I did, he almost smiles. She had a face like an archipelago with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was too, he nods. A spook on the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals. You could tell she was a spook from the documents. She had different color hair on the photo and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio. And you could see her bruises through the scope of a rifle. You can't see bruises through a scope, it's just a blur. Then how do you know those minute details about her body? Any chance you've seen them through a hole in a wall? Oh yes, he smacks his lips, cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife, masturbating. Did you make that hole? With a clip-point knife. Good for listening in too, hearing moanings and snorts. Ever see her through a window on a roof? Like that too, yeah. He bending like a bow against the glass. You've been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags. Those were your footprints in there. You just changed your shoes. I've been through all of Martinez, every nook and cranny. And that cranny too. Yeah, that too. He shakes his head, almost in awe. The things they did in that little room, what she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but he keeps shaking his head. Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen, a quick glance at you, then at the men. How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop. I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time, the kitchen's empty. You had to open the steel door in the kitchen. How? I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago? He left spare keys all over and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope. He points towards the whirling in rags. And he found a use for it. A spare key like the one hanging behind the union box window. Did you have feelings for that woman? He sighs. There's nothing to hold on to, only this. It's not enough. The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying? Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps you if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know. There have been others? Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something. Was that why you left the dried flowers behind the window? No. He starts to shake his head again. A sunflower on a withered stalk. Then why? I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying like a child in the corner of her room on the floor, like she does sometimes. When was this? The day after I'd killed him. And you brought her Maybells. Yeah. He looks at the charred logs. I don't know why I do these things anymore. You wanted to console her. Maybe. He lowers his head and just stares at the logs. I told you I have holes in my brain now. I couldn't just sit there waiting for you. If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you. He wipes his eye. In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more. So in conclusion, it wasn't about him. It was about her. Her. He repeats, staring at the ashes, then the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye. The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement. The old man looks at you, suddenly remembering something. Where is she, that Classier? I haven't seen her for days. She got away, but she led us here first. She figured out someone was watching her from the sea fort. Gone. He looks to the city and nods. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week, at the island like she knew. She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right in me. He adds, to no one in particular. It doesn't matter. He knows. He knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring out, day by day, cigarette by cigarette. А Plague Tale също много се заслужава. Мисля, че и тя е много намалена. Мисля, че даже и Disco Elysium е намален поне малко. Някъде бях смегнал отзив в Reddit, че и Disco Elysium е с леко намаление. С $8. Да, още е прекалено нова, за да има голямо намаление, но не знам, много си заслужава. We could get more. The lieutenant uses the opportunity to tell you. We've got him talking. Been looking at anything else you haven't liked? A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers. A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. Ако на работа не ти беше писано от французи, смятай. Впрочем, Картач мисля, че изобщо не е твой тип игра Plague Tales. Нали, ако чисто механично говорим, не знам колко ти е толеранса към жанрове, които не играеш често. Resident Evil 2 за 20. Меко казано си заслужава за 20 евро. Още един грабеж, абсолютно. Явно Capcom са пуснали на голямо намаление миналогодишния си репертуар. Anything more specific? Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house, stripped clean and draped in neon, but Martinez, he shakes his head in grave disgust, Martinez is the worst. How come? Because of the racists. Everyone is racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world, listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries. He points inland. Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a social democrat who runs it. Mr. Clare? Yeah, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philip III, a syphilistic murderer, on the town square to spit on the working class. Anything more? Not since the serfs of ancient Perikinesis has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. In tents like animals. He points to the church. Like those boom 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 morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs. He keeps shaking his head with sorrow for the sight he missed. That all? The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrant on her yacht, licking her lips. The old horse gone now, her gun-toting porcelain men are dead, so actually no. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozone, the Croyan Moraine, or some other island they've built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children. That's all the rich really want, sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frizzell is now dead. We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores. What follows is an ominous mumbling. You cannot make out a single word. The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people. Might be worth investigating. And the Sucrant on her yacht? Joyce, probably. Disco whores? Horse is all he says. Even that word has to be pushed through his teeth with great force. The rage seethes too hard. There was something about the statue on the roundabout in syphilis. It's a disease Philip II contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination. Abomination? Bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainium, and monuments of himself. His son Philip III the Insane contracted syphilis in the womb. He breathes in a wheeze of hatred. That is technically possible, although he was not syphilitic, he was just mad. And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government, and those grotesque statues too, hundreds of them. And yet it's still there. What a keen remark, he sputters. Yes it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why? Because cynical advertising yuppies erected a deconstructed version of it. That's right, some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest working class plastic explosives, and there it is again. Art is bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed and the artist should be given 30 years of hard labor in the Yukokata. Кико, да си знаеш, всяка галерия да минава под булдозера И на всеки художник 30 годинки в местния вариант на... О, чукотка. Wait, the bullet hole in Philip's heart. The statue had been shot. That was him. Омофага, наистина всичко е имало връзка с убийството. It was you who shot the statue. There was a bullet hole in his heart. I did. He nods. A needless, sentimental gesture. I should have spared the bullet for a deformed monster of a liberal capitalism. Shameful, really. Yeah, shameful. The lieutenant takes a quick note. So many others to punish over the years. Isn't that right, detective? Actually, it's not deconstructed so much as to capture the moment of explosion. What are you talking about? The ancient communard cocks his head. It's not a monument to Philip III anymore. It's a monument to the monument of Philip III exploding. What is this madness? A dim light comes on in his eyes. The lieutenant too has cocked his head and is looking at you with a strange expression. It's not madness, it's a monument to what you did. To your program of de-statuing Revachol. So you're saying it's a communist monument now? Yes, and furthermore, the design bureau people are probably left-wing too. They often are. We did always have the prettiest posters. Maybe you're right. His eyes fill with understanding. That is how dialectics work, but understand this, art is still a bourgeois institution. He coughs then adds in a gravely voice, and they should all still be sent to Yekukata. I don't know about that, could we not? Don't be squeamish, it's commonplace to relocate the workforce as need arises. All nations do it. It's called settlement. He shakes his head and mumbles, some kind of bourgeois art fascist. That's it for the statue then. Tell me, Mr. Dross. In fact, Union man, let them put it there. Corrupt as he is, probably got a fat check for it too, shared with the law. You mentioned the Union is a social democratic and Mr. Clare is a farce of a social democrat. Допреди малко си говорихме за жена и за секс, не слушаше за малко и вече не знаеш за какво говорим. Говорим за всичко, калички. Но най-вече за секс. Не се притеснявай. Another hideous disappointment, he pokes at the ash. Unions are the real enemy, the true enemy of the proletariat, placating the masses. Disappointment, so personal, he displays a familiarity with the Union's top brass. Who's a disappointment? Everett Clare? That deformed toad. I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean the brains of the operation, the smart one. You mean Edgar, Everett's brother. The old man chortles with a nod. He talks a big game about uprising and social base. He must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin where it's alienation this and hegemony that. You've talked to him. First against the wall with him. He stopped poking at the ash now, just shakes his head. The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing. Maybe the Clares asked him to. Have you approached them? I haven't approached anyone, I've hid. It was Edgar who came to me. How did he know you were here? He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains. He points to the path leading to the tower. Stepped right off that boat and walked down where he came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man on the left, wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things. When was this? 20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then. That's around the time the Clares came to power. What did you talk about? Edgar did the talking. paid him respects like I were a fossil in uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle, flaunted his pink degree, even quoted Mazov. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Mazov. He suddenly remembers. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought. And he lets you be here. Let me be here. He looks around. The SAR is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the loyalists. Even the Clares understand this. They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy? Holy shit, колко надълбоко отива тази конспирация. Съзнавам напълно, че това е непроследимо, ако просто хвърляте някакъв casual поглед на стрима, но holy fucking shit. Mr. Dross, did you kill the Crenel mercenary for the Clares to incite a riot? You know why I killed that fucker, Druat. He shakes his head. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again. Again? What have you done for Edgar before? Tried teaching him some Mazovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways. He didn't do it, the hanged man, for them, but he is insinuating something. За 2 минути никакъв шанс, Ради, никакъв шанс. За 2 минути мога само да препоръчам с 2 ръце, 2 крака и каквито там още крайници са ми дадени. Да я изиграете и вие. What was the deal between him and Edgar? 20 years ago, when you met Edgar, the Clares didn't run the Union yet, did they? A sputter from the old man. He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend. Who did? That bourgeois cow. Tiffany Holly was her name. He narrows his eyes. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation. And money, she liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker. His eyes glisten suddenly with hatred. She was also a woman, wasn't she, like that Classier? She was, and she was a real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Moscova bag on her shoulder that she liked to bring to work. And then she just disappeared. Called in, they say, on the eve of battle, ran away, vanished like a piss stain. He squints and smiles at the black lawns. That's not quite it, is it? Did she? The lieutenant's voice is calm. They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it? Nah, I guess it was not. You could swear you see the embers glow again under the eyes of dust. Edgar had someone make the call. Why is that, Mr. Dross? She couldn't make that call herself. Why? Because she was dead. The cow caught a bullet in her right lung, fell into the canal grasping her tit and drowned, or bled, hard to say. It was a sloppy job and a moving target. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins were black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal. Heading home to her Grand Couronne or Betancourt, some place like that, where they build those new batements for the people who flourish in the hell around her. And the ruins? It was you. He doesn't fall for it. It was someone. Someone shot her. He shrugs. His eyes grow cold suddenly. Or maybe she just fell. I get these violent ideations. My memory is filled with holes, especially the 30s. All I know is nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony. There was no uprising, just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing. Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal. A sputter again, nothing more. If you were to testify this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk. The lieutenant says in a voice even calmer, as if it were nothing at all. We could strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic. A degenerative worker state? Goat shit. No thank you. I'm a Revacholian, he spits. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything. Okay then, that's that. But I know. All you know is I saw it happen and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Her plump body bobbing up and down in the canal like a cork. That cheeky yellow bag still on her, strangling her. Cold black coal looks in the canal, then at you, and blinks. The blood-drained Sucreant on her boat. What is a Sucreant? Sucreant, a bloodsucker, a rich whore on her boat. Oh, you mean Joyce? Women like her feed on the life energy of young working-class men, and they let her. I can't believe the inert lumpen out there. They just let her drive her little boat like that. No violence, not even a robbery. The working class has lost their appetite for justice. His voice trails off in disappointment. If only he had the ammunition. Вау, единствената причина той да не е теглил куршума на Джойс е, че не е имал куршумите за това. Holy fuck. By the cock parading in his colorful uniform, you meant Renee. Every fucking morning for 34 years. He grinds his teeth in rage, throwing that ball, one ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June. Royalist ghouls play it more like life itself. Click-clack, he makes the sound of balls connecting across the water each day, and that uniform like a parrot's plumage. I won't even mention that he is a traitor to his race. A petanque maniac race traitor. Keep going. I remember him. He points to his black eye. I remember him from La Noche, not him personally, his make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. With his shaky finger he points to the city, towards the crater near the plaza, where a lonely pine tree stands. That one. There doesn't seem to be a single person under that pine today, not even Gaston alone. There's no one there. Fat and plump like a pheasant. He doesn't hear you, just begging to be popped off. A grin stretches across his face and he says very softly, "Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me." You'd like to kill him? The smile lingers. Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bonbon melt in my mouth. Save the treat for later, the lieutenant asks cheerfully. He is a juicy bonbon, that one, a real treat, for the black day, the blackest, when I put that gun in my own mouth. I think, no, don't do it. Put that lead in that cock Renee, for the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls and I suddenly feel. He lets out a wistful sigh. Better. I even hid one bullet so I'd always have one for him. The lines on his face straighten as he looks inland. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood. Renee's dead. He died of old age, a couple of days ago. No. Yes. The old communist looks at you, his blackberry eyes shaking in disbelief. I waited too long. I waited too long and now he's dead. I'm sorry, Mr. Dross, the lieutenant says softly. I understand you knew him for a long time. They're all dead now. Fuck it. If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done so. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands, his health ailing. You had 1,000 chances to kill him. And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust. You cared about him. A little flash of anger. All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing heads explode. And now... God damn this world. Are you okay to go on? You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fucking die. All the other plans we had. To love, to colonize the Pale, it's all fucked. He is not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange is keeping him together, making him endure. An idea, told to him by grown-ups from radio towers and leaflets, in beautiful print when he was still a teenager. Everything is possible if we fight. And then he lost. So did they all. What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition, for a man who spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild. He is surprisingly okay. Indeed. He speaks fluidly, his movements are rapid, if erratic, his voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated. By what, though? It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system. Is it dementia? You've seen demented people before. This feels similar yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile. Mr. Dross, are you okay? How's your memory? He waves his hand, chasing something that's not there. No, I'm not okay. I shit blood and I'm surrounded by insane people. Ей, също като мен. Рекордно изиграване. Кое би било рекорда, Анитке, в случая? An unexpected ending. Ще видим. Joseph Lilianovich Dross, you are under arrest for the murder of Ellis Courtenier. What? The old man's eyes fill with sudden, unexpected terror at the words. But you said I would be taken to the... Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers of the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand? But... Do you understand, sir? No, I don't want to. I have to stay here. He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror. He's sweating, beads are forming on his forehead. Your confirmation is not required, sir. Kim turns to you. Now, onto the boat. There it is again, to your north, as it has been before since you came to the coast. The reeds whisper, stalks rubbing against each other, but then in the middle of it, something completely different. It sounds like a bow, very slowly being drawn against the strings of a violin. A very small violin made of reeds and rushes. And then it's gone, drowned out by the lieutenant's boat. Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat. Shush, Kim, do you hear that? What? What are you talking about? Is this... The old man's voice drowns in a sudden gust of wind. Really us? Your skin crawls. No fucking way. No fucking way. Това е митологичното същество за... What the fuck? Което търсеха пара зоолозите или както се водеше там. Oh my god, the Insulindian phasmid. A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence. Blink. It's still there, an unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin, hovering in place. Ама аз знам какво е това. The old man looks at the reeds, then at you. What are you talking about? The giant stick insect. He looks confused. There's nothing there. The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand move to your holster to grab the gun. There it is, I see it. Tell me what you see, damn it, I can't make out one small thing in the reeds. Kim, can you see it? I can see it. 4 simple words. Thank God, if he can see then you're not insane. But that means... it's really there. Spinning slowly in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender. Be very, very careful, the lieutenant whispers, then takes a step towards the giant arthropod. Какво се случва? За Бога! Имам 4 скил точки от нещо? What the fuck? Какво мога да дигна вече at this point? Всичко съм макснал, кажи речи. 2 точки на драма. 1 на концептуализация. Всъщност имам какво да дигам. Hi! The creature stands on long, stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair. White and curled at the tips, it's no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks. The hiss is different from the strings you heard before. It says something else in a lower pitch. Oh. Listen carefully. This is the Insulindian phasmid.
It is.
Той иска да го снима. Are you sure you won't scare it off?
We need a photo. No one will believe us.
Let me approach first.
I won't be one of those fools who didn't take a picture.
Just listen to me.
Okay.
Я да апрочна преди да се окаже, че е твърде късно. Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps towards the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks and the swarm around your head like swallows. The tracheal system on the creature's abdomen expands in front of you to take and expel air. It is smelling you. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin on its white limbs. The head on the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water. It's smelling me. Maybe it is real, the pheromone. The lieutenant's mouth is agape. The insect's head is... Да, също това отчетохме. Raise your hand slowly. The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect your motion, glittering. The worlds stand still around you. Raise the other hand, I guess? As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They are white, like stalks of porcelain, knitting above you, praying to you. That's right, pray. Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am. No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you. You are right. Little bubbles form on the mouthparts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish. The faintest smell, like you've never felt before, like burnt roses. Kim, it's foaming. Ей, някой ни предлага да станем известни, очарователно. Careful, it may be poisonous. The lieutenant watches you apprehensively. The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouthparts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst one by one, letting out that smell, the same smell like summer burning. What are you doing? Holy fuck, говорим си с него. I exist. And so do I. Tell me what it's like for you. It's wunderbar. Не мога. Yes, holy is the Lord of hosts, and all the earth is filled with his glory. Now I will tell you what it's like for me. For me, it's a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness being intruded upon, transient, dim, and moist. Intruded upon by what? Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations, a swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms, all speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I am nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never ache. You're the type of animal I would like to be. Are you sure? Yeah, why are you asking? Sometimes, when I'm molting, I regrow a lost limb. One time, something went wrong and a small leg replaced a missing antenna. That's cool. No, the leg tried to move around independently, making it hard to walk. Oh, you don't have a foot there now? Yes, thankfully someone ate it. The next time I molted, I grew an antenna again. What the fuck is going on? I'm a detective, you know? So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What are you born to detect? I was born to detect you. Yes, no one detected me for such a long time. For thousands of years, I dithered out of sight, draped myself in greenery. This is my masterpiece. No one believed I exist, almost no one, until you came, detective. dripping of blood that smells like strawberries. Across the calm sea, the first in 1,000 years. Is this a dream? What's happening? No, you are awake. I am real. Light is forming me. This is real. Where does this come from? All of this, around us, the world. Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lilies. Then all we can do is beat our fists against it, day after day, with no answer. You can also eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Yum yum. Or a reed. Wait, so you look like a reed and you eat reeds. Yes, they don't mind. Have you accidentally eaten another reed, Phasmid? Yes, I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter, and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident. What the flying fuck? Пали живота на насекомите. What exactly are you? I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodea, endemic to the Insuliandian Isola. For the last 350 years I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys. I went unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain, also by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Semonese islanders who came here first but did not stay have not seen me. What the fuck? Was there an ancient Ceraceliotic civilization? Yes, with stone tools and silk. They too missed me, although I had not developed the mutation needed for parentogenesis yet, and scoured the Neolithic hinterlands as distinct individuals, not clones. Are you a miracle? No, you are the miracle. Ah, you're breathtaking. No, you're breathtaking. The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while you are extreme, all-engulfing madness, a volatile simian nervous system ominously new to the planet. The Pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Kandarians do not, the radically symmetrics do not. There is almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all. The Pale is human-made? It's a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of humankind. I don't have that kind of power. You are violent and an irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in are afraid of you. Given enough time, you would wipe us all out and replace us with nothing just by accident. How? We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing, only much worse. Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts. Worse how? Holy moly. Kim, am I having a violent epileptic seizure right now? It doesn't look like that, no. What does it look like? You are just staring at it. Then I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind. Okay. After a second, the lieutenant asks, is this somehow related to the case? Case? The case is meaningless compared to this. I have totally transcended the case. I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species. I have to say goodbye now. I've no more thoughts, that was all. No, there is one more. Of all the creatures I've met, you are the kindest. Thank you. I also have one more thing to say before you go. That woman, turn from the ruin, turn and go forward, for all mankind. I'll try. She was hell on earth. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that. Току-що абсолютно непознат вид насекомо ми каза да преодолея бившата си жена. А как е вашия петък? Okay, Kim, take the picture. Okay. With a slow ring of metal, the lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level. There is no change in the insect motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you. 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Супер снимка! The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in bright lights. Head turned toward the lieutenant. Hypnotized by the flash, it stands frozen before you. I got it! You hear the lieutenant whisper as the creature's shape develops onto photo paper in his hand. A polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds in the sky, and you as a shadow before it. Immortalized. Carefully pet its scythe-like forearm. Или пък не, айде. Да му почешкаме мустачките. The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of a left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold, ticklish. It's surprisingly delicate, the curly end of a whisker, like a young vine. It's even a bit wet. Be careful, detective. It's moving. Look at your finger. Lick your finger, не мога. It tastes like sugar, very faint. The anthropod towers above you, tufts of reed pointing from limb and head alike. Odorless, mostly comprised of water. Pet its scythe-like forearm. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over, its hollow exoskeleton collapsing. Pull your hand away. A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening, wave by wave, from its stupor. We got it. Back off. As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping onto the water. The long limbs carry its feather weight without breaking its surface. What the fuck? What the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in its place stood, bobbing there among the reeds, a collection of items. It is gone. It can walk on water? Apparently, yes, like a water strider, only I've never seen anything like that in my life. What's that in the reeds? Looks like a nest of some sort. We should take a look. What now? What now? The old man behind you repeats suddenly. He's put his hand into the ash. It's dirty and black. Our suspect not looking so good. We need to check on him. Браток, чакай малко. ОМФГ, сериозно ли? Не мога. Липсващия шлем от голямата броня. Brother, there, you managed to collect all the armor pieces. Too bad it's too late for the big showdown. At least my collector's impulse has been satisfied. Indeed, you found it all. Now your mortal coil is completely protected. Few cops are this futuristic. At least I'm truly invincible now. Паспорта на Класия. Боже господи. Намерихме всичко в тази игра. Amazing. Катържине Аласи. Значи в крайна сметка и Катържине Аласия не е истинското име. Така ли излиза? Huh. What's her real name then? Явно няма да я узнаем истинското име. Така или иначе. Да облека бронята. Ей сегинка. Някъде наляхме още 2 точки. Level up на интерфейсинг и имаме една свободна, нали така? Я знам, Volition примерно. От време на време е полезно да го имаме. Мога да тръгна по Savoir Faire, ама не съмнява да е много полезно. Няма за кога да се промъкваме. Иначе футуристичната броня изглежда по ето този начин. Това е шлема. Бутушите. Ръкавиците ги нося така или иначе. И бронята. Няма джекет, който нали да е свързан с нея. Само ще го сваля за да го видите. И няма панталони. Панталоните са свободни като слот. Кефи ме как оставам с папионката обаче. Ей, така изглежда. Добре, обаче ще си върна нещата, които ми помагат за детективски чекове, че иначе може и да... не вържат оставащите чекове. Рокерското яке ще му пасне. Сигурно да. Йокико, много сме близо вече. Случиха се ебаси щурите неща. Добре, F5.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Something is very wrong with him now. How could you not see the phasmid? See? He stares at the reeds and falls silent. Mr. Dross? The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over the bulging from their sockets, his gap-toothed mouth shaking. The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail. He is going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The lieutenant inspects him gently. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem, doesn't it, Mr. Dross? The trembling mouth appears to sigh. Between this and the broken tire he used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid. We found some things in the phasmid's nest, Mr. Dross. Да му покажем мельника. He turns his eye to it. I lost. You lost it, Mr. Dross. He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times, beige and white stripes. He lost the scope, then it somehow made its way over there, with the help of a magpie phasmid. This sight is a T9, Mr. Dross. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot? Silence, not even a sigh. No reaction to the passport. His breathing is slow and he appears very old all of a sudden, around 80. This is an old man, at last. No longer a tin soldier, but the broken down remains of a man. Did you take this passport and other papers from a boy on the coast? He blinks and continues to stare at the reeds. The spirit. He hears us. The spirit? No reply. He's gone again. Showing him the ceramic helmet, there's no reaction. Just dull staring, not even rage left wherever he is. If Kuno kicked it into the sea as he said he did, the ebb would pull it back here. That makes sense. Mr. Dross could have picked it up, or the phasmid even. If he did, this is incredible. I'm gonna let you rest now, Mr. Dross. The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched and his mouth open. The blacks of his eyes are receding. His pupils are returning to normal. What has happened to this man? Old age and shock. Yeah. The appearance of the phasmid, in conjunction with the stress of the arrest. He spent his entire life here. For him to leave would be... Kim shakes his head. Hang tight. We should think about getting back to the mainland, to get help. He'll be safe here, if we don't take too long. Гледам само, или няма какво да се оглежда. Дали си пропуснал много? Трудно е да се каже, но превентивно ще кажа да. Така. И обратно към лодката. Къде я бяхме паркирали? Тук някъде. Надолу по стълбичката. The ride back is uneventful and quiet, but for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you. You reach the jetty and climb out to the skiff, off the skiff. Кой пък ме чака? Интересно.
Look what the tide brought in. Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Whatever this is, it's completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen. This is the man with sunglasses from the Whirling in Rags. Where are his sunglasses? No one else seems bothered by the bleeding.
Bothered by it? Harry, you look like you need a fucking organ transplant. Fuck it. Let's not get into that.
Who are you people?
Hello, I'm Trent Heidelstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean Vicmar, and this is your special task force, or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heidelstein, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We have come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Precinct 57. We've just come from the island where our investigation led us.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify your
We
actions.
might need your help with something later.
Kim adds, suddenly regaining his confidence.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
What's this about?
Harry, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in.
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science.
Taka.
My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
So, Trent Heidelstein turns out to be Special Consultant Trent Heidelstein. What was up with the kid then? Mikhail? Mikhail is my son. What was up with the interesting history then? Spying on me? No, I was just interested in the Feld building and the Martinez beachhead, and Mikhail wanted to see Martinez. It was a coincidence. So what's your special consulting here? What indeed? He looks at the dilapidated shacks than you. I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory. He's here to see if you're insane. He's smart. Let's move on. What's a shit kid? You, shit kid. That's you. Despite all that I've done? No, because of all that you've done. How did you know I was here? The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went. I saved his establishment and still he betrays me. Strange, he didn't mention that. In fact, the establishment didn't look saved at all. There was a giant aerograffito in front of the building. It was on fire. Uh-huh. The line is from Lou Jeton's Mirova 82, isn't it? About girl-child communism, the titular returning character, the ghostly apparition of... He looks around and, noticing the impatience of his companions, stops himself. Good choice, Harry. Don't encourage him, Trent. Okay. You aren't the man with sunglasses at all. You're not even blonde. Guilty as charged. He exchanges a look with his special consultant. I heard you lost your mind and your memory. I wanted to see if it's true. And it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now. There's one less person for me and everyone else to rely on. Maybe if you hadn't been so sarcastic, I would have realized I knew you. I'm clinically depressed, Harry. Sorry if I wasn't in the mood to butter you up after you told us to fuck off. Actually, I suspected something was off. Zdravey, money. Did you? He adjusts his tie. Or did you literally not recognize my face? We've been partners for how long, Harry? Don't answer that, you don't remember. You never told me you're not the horse-faced woman. Lieutenant, she says with a heavy sigh, my name is not horse-faced woman, it's Judith Minot. I was assigned to your unit 2 months ago. I thought we were friends. Patrol Officer Minot, glad to make this acquaintance. Let's put the past behind us. Right, sir. Her tone is suddenly very cold. Duped again. No one says... No one's who they say they are. Duped? Hey, there's a brilliant idea. Don't be a morbid drunk and you won't be duped so easily. Gardener, scab leader, this... Kim, tell me at least you are who you said you were. Yes, I am still Kim Kitsuragi, still a lieutenant from Precinct 57. You mentioned a task force. Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicmar. Ring any bells? Refresh my memory, who else is in this? Refresh your memory. It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me, Jude, Trent fucking Heidelsdam, and Guillaume Bevy. He stares at you. I am technically still just a civilian advisor. Fuck you, you're part of this shit show now. Yeah, first, who's Guillaume Bevy? Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. He's not smiling. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good, then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit. Other people have left too, good, smart people. People we won't get back, only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here, and Trent because I'm forcing him to stay. Is this Guillaume Bevy blonde with sunglasses like you were? See there! He wags his finger at you. He's getting it. I was impersonating him. Look at me, I'm G Baby. I was going to be funny. But then you really did have brain damage, so not so much anymore. Okay, so what does the unit do? Do? It is a major crimes unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are shit tier now, Harry, because of you. The 41st isn't. Kim trails off, not wishing to finish the sentence. Where you been all this time? Where have we been? We've been fucking off as far as I remember. You told us to fuck off. You said we were cramping your style. You're a detective god. Fuck everything. All will burn. Detect or die. Why didn't you detect or die then? Oh, you think it was cool saying that. Aesthetic somehow. You were crying when we got here. Breaking things. You said we were going into the abyss. None of us wanted to see the abyss, so we fucked off, he sighs, like you told us to. None of this is ringing any bells. The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage, Trent. He turns to the blonde. This is where you come in. How bad is it? Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning, all good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic. Meaning you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, Isola, pale, and so on. As displayed in the station call are interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, he makes air quotes, but also mine with him before, when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting. Interesting. Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socio-economically? I drank so much I lost my memory, and I'm now slowly recovering it. He is getting better, and I can confirm that he drank a lot of alcohol prior to it happening. I believe he drank, he turns to you. People do that, especially this one. What they don't do is forget their whole life because of drinking. But Detective Vicma, he has blanked out before, interjects Judith. I have? Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. She pauses, remembering. One was after the two drunks case, the other when we looked into that mural. So you don't remember not remembering. Beautiful. Да, чели сме и за двата случая в дневник. Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes in it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea. Yes, practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak. What do you mean? Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here. He gestures towards the scenery. Look at the ruins, the neon, listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years as a police detective. He's like a magnetic reader on the world tape. To borrow a known metaphor, Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market, he nods confidently. He just needed for it to end. Привет, Zami. Idvaš za Grande finale. Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the Major Crimes Unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that. He is not a cretin, and he is able to do work, if not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective. I'm ready to lead again. No one even mentioned that. He looks at you, then at Trent. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on, or use the potty, or do we need to get him on a disability pension? What now? Now nothing. Now we are just going to stand here. Really? No, now we discuss that. He points to the water. What the fuck did you do to our motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry? It wasn't me. Ще караме на шаги тактиката. Wasn't me. Oh, well, if it wasn't you, then it's okay. You only let someone steal our 45,000 real police vehicle, drive it into the sea, and then just left it there. For the records, you pressured us into getting it. It'll be cool, Jean. We'll have wheels, rapid response. I was fine being an equestrian cop. I hope you're fine driving a bicycle. Don't answer that. He exhales to calm his breathing. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge. There? He squints at it suspiciously, trying to ascertain if it's not a blue candy wrapper or a piece of vinyl. Finally, he nods, unimpressed. Okay, and your gun? What is with all these material objects? The gun? There's my gun. Ooh, he has it. I thought it was in the ocean. He wipes his brow in mock relief. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone. What? I'm not drunk. I haven't started drinking again. So you forgot to drink. I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then? He's wounded. Kim looks at you. It's been a long week and he's handled an actual corpse. None of this matters. My odor situation, it's meaningless compared to what I've discovered. What you've discovered, you let the suspect escape a certain classier because you were too drunk to assess the flight risk. We've read the reports, Harry. Lieutenant Kitsuragis, we know. What? That's just a small detail in a huge case you know nothing about. Sure, it's part of your master plan. He rubs his face in frustration. Let's not even get into the other suspect who also escaped, another detail. Or the fact that you very likely sold your gun for booze. That's peanuts, that's nothing, that's a humorous anecdote. Compared to 6 people who were gunned down. The streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was a fucking mass murder. He did everything he could. The lieutenant interrupts him. We did everything we could. The company hired unvetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals. He did so at considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been. Yeah, it was a massacre. We got wiped. Where the hell were you? Don't make this harder for yourself. Kim says it in a lowered voice. Thank you for your input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mention to suggest you didn't handle the situation. He brushes a stray strand of his hair out of his eye and coughs. You spent the week with him on the case. What is your take? On the case? On Lieutenant Yefreiter Dubois. Well, he pulls on his collar. The drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge, that is all true, although he has not been drinking on the job this week. See? 1 week. Then there's the self-flagellation issue. He likes to apologize profusely, making it sound like he's guilty of at least first-degree murder. It is not communication strategy for an officer, it's just strange, especially in light of his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a true blue moralist, a man of the center, not prone to political outbursts, which is commendable, but also at odds with his behavior. Odder still, he's also an ultra-liberal hustler who's always on the grind. How he reconciles these 2 points of view, I do not know, but he's vocal about both of them. Тук играта ни прави оценка на какви отговори съм давал през цялото време. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. He breathes in sharply, but despite all of this, he is a great detective, one of the best I've seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him everything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He's tireless, madly driven. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out. Yeah, it was what it was. Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on our case. And he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Kim pauses. Oh, and he also discovered a new species. A new species? A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid. He takes out the photo and shows it to officers across the yard. Rain comes down. He covers the glossy photo of the phasmid with his hand. You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind. As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered. This is what I've been trying to tell you about. Jean ignores you, still staring at the phasmid. Само отбелязвам, че в играта сме срещали хора с френски акцент, т.е. наподобяващи Ирала французи в обща линии 3-4 пъти и всичките до един са пълни задници. Ама всичките. Този е начало на всички, by the way. По това колко тъп задник е. Fucking hell, is this somehow connected to the case? The killer did not seem to be aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into stupor. After its presence, he became near catatonic. It's probably not connected per se, but the perpetrator knew of its existence. So it is connected. I must say, this, he points to the photo, is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it. Yeah, it really does make it hard to fire the drunk. Jean's tired eyes follow the photo as the lieutenant puts it away. Now you make your case. Now's the time. Now or never. I also started a nightclub in the church. Разбрах, спектричке. Браво, GG. И на теб. What was that? Hiccups his ear, the wind blows. It sounded like you set up a nightclub in the church. Yeah, and I discovered a hitherto unexplored anthroponetical phenomenon in there too. A 2mm hole in the world. That's great. Anthroponaut is a great new career for you. After a police officer, I don't care. Go live in the Pale. 4 kids were living in a tent on the ice. They were going to drown when it melted. It is not optimal, but the building was abandoned, so he put them in there. It's okay. Also, the phasmid was female. The reeds are its nest. Female? What makes you think so? You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female, and the nesting behavior too, I think. Incredible! Were there eggs in the nest? Not as far as I could see. There were other things there though. It's interesting time. Така. Вау, почти организирахме резерват за това място. Така. Описваме фазмида. Супер подробно. Аз малко си почивам, както виждате, от четене. The PR value of this is exceptional. Cop discovers new species. Oh my god. The killer, Lilyanovich Dross. We have a strong motive for him. Lilyanovich? The special consultant raises an eyebrow. A revolutionary matronym. О, това се използва от революционерите от времето на войната. Cool, cool. А мотива, който му приписваме е, че е убил наемника от ревност. Jealousy. I thought this Lilyanovich was an old man. To have been hiding for 50 years. 70 something? Kitsuragi nods. A strange psychosexual fascination. The result of spending all this time in solitude on the islands of this bay. and Toma too. He himself gave a political reason. In his mind, he had killed an enemy combatant. Also, we have ballistics from the gun, matching the bullet found in the dead mercenary's head, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed to. It's a clean win. Oh, it's way more than that. It's more than that, a perfect folding mechanism, like the Phasmid. Perfect folding mechanism. Jean rolls his eyes. Get over yourself, Harry. I could still smell the booze on the wind. God damn it, does it ever leave? It is there, like in your bones or something. It will pass, in time. The previous head of the Debradeurs Union was assassinated by our killer. The lieutenant lowers his voice just a little. This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open in Martinez, where Everett and Edgar Clare have eyes and ears everywhere. Understood, of course. The consultant too has lowered his voice and would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality. And I also fixed the strike situation. How? It seems to be ongoing. I see red banners on the gates. He didn't quite solve it. He cross-pollinated information between the company rep and Everett until the rep came to see that the union desires war, at which point Mrs. Messier decided to... Kim shrugs. What? Hand clear the terminal? I masterminded a solution to an unsolvable problem, you dumb fuck. Sounds like you got played, Harry, because you were off your tits on Al Ghul. Hey, how do you know about Al Ghul? It doesn't matter how I know about Al Ghul. What matters is, you're Everett's Clare messenger now, a union man, as he calls it. He's a mob boss, did you know? Is this why you want us to investigate the assassination of the previous union head thing, to get off Everett's hook? No, it is nothing like that. He was reckless with information, but ethical. We don't owe anyone anything. This allowed us to stabilize things in Martinez. God, calm down, Jean. Yeah, for real. There's also a dead man on the boardwalk, a missing person I found. Yes, fallen through a gap in the boardwalk, drunk. How did you know I found him? The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff. You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us. Still, she says quietly, good work with the missing person, detective. I also looked into the mystery of the doomed commercial area. Jean shrugs. I don't know what a doomed commercial area is. Rue de Saint-Ghislain 10, a commercial building where all businesses go bankrupt. I looked into it. Why? That's not what you were supposed to do here. There was a possible witness in there, and it was close to the crime scene. He was just chasing a lead and ended up advising a local shopkeeper. It was okay. Of course, Judith turns to Vicmar. Call it community outreach, right? Bruh? I confiscated drugs from Kuno's dad. Who's Kuno? You don't want to know. You're right, Lieutenant. I don't. You snorted the drugs. I know you did. It's alright. I mean, at this point anything is but the drink. So what do you say? Wanna take this hot shit back? I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder, he shrugs. So I have to. You'd? A quick nod. Anything that ends this trial is okay with me. Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go. Okay, he sighs. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go. Има ли да разпитваме някакви неща? Wow. Dora Ingerland. We weren't even married. Huh. Преди 6 години е била раздялата и още не сме я преодоляли. Holy shit! $10 милиона продажби за Стардио. Да. Засякох и аз новината. Това е невероятно. Супер заслужен успех, но и толкова невероятен, че е малко трудно да го проумея даже. Разбира се, не е на същата цена, но за справка също 10 на милиона копия са продали и God of War от 2018 и Horizon Zero Dawn. Просто за сравнение. На колко хора имат интерес към Stardew Valley спрямо други големи заглавия. Какво ще прави Ким Кицураги от тук нататък? Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all of this. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain. What about? Kim pulls up his collar and looks around, the cold spring light reflected in the lenses of his glasses. Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol. I don't know what yet, but it is going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate. Wanna do that at 41? Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two captains with my doom-mongering. No, I mean investigate. Come work in Precinct 41. Work with Price. A crooked smile quivers on Kim's lips. I'm flattered, but I don't know if I... This truly came as a surprise to him, not a bad one, but he is at a loss. Flattered? You, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered. The man turns very serious all of a sudden. I would have to tie things up at GRIH first, but I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor. And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant, Judith says with a smile. Piles that we need to get back to, mountains even. I do like the sound of that, he returns her smile. He is really considering it. I'm ready. Good. Judith looks at you, then at Vikmar. Fuck it, let's go. The man points down the street. Trent brought his motor carriage. It's 20-minute drive to Jamrock. The great district hums in the falling rain. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls. Fire traps as far as the eye can see, from Main Street to Grand Couronne, from Precinct 41 to Boogie Street, forking into the rain-swept horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by the factory window, dreaming of a meteorite strike. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Thorson? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstam? No. Vikmar? Yes. Dubois? Yes. Really? Nix Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing, Captain Ptolemy Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in his office and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the RCM. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Mina? Of course. Wonderful. The woman looks north. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now? Ta-da-dum-tum-tum-tum. Малко намалям. Нали говориш и за неща? На вас просто ви е трудно да проследите диалога. Беше си много натурално място за завършване на както размяната на реплики, така и на самата игра. Еба си играта, впрочем. Еба си играта. Йоана Николова. Виждате доста, предполагам, източноевропейски имена. Ако не греша, са естонци. Основателите на екипа и всъщност голямата, нали, движещата сила зад направата на тази игра. Кога горе-долу започна Диско Elysium? Преди 2 седмици? И така. Диско fucking Elysium. Баси добрата игра. Доста игри са се опитвали да бъдат следващия Planescape през годините. Но мисля, че само тази ще бъде запомнена като наистина следващия Planescape. Една такава на 20 години. Това май беше принципа, нали? 99-та излезе Planescape, 2019-та Disco Elysium. Но по принцип е по-сложна от Planescape, защото Planescape не бърка в политическата каца. Нали? Не се опитва да... Няма претенции да засяга и тези теми. Номенера, какво е станало с този наследник на Planescape? Не беше лоша игра, но не е на това ниво. Просто не е. И така, това беше Disco Motherfucking Elysium. Благодаря, че бяхте с мен на това необикновено пътешествие със сигурност. Не знам кога пак ще ви подложа на нещо такова, но едва ли ще е скоро. Така или иначе, такива игри не излизат прекалено често. Даже изобщо. Желая ви лека вечер. Очаквайте подкастчето след има-няма 3 часа. И да, хубав уикенд, ако не се видим по някакъв друг повод. Next Game Spoiler. Не съм си избрал все още. Тръпнете в очакване.